Bro.
Jim Jones was pacing around his tiny flat, feeling a strange urgency in his heartbeat. It started like any other Wednesday, but there was an unsettling electricity. Chrissy, his lover, had been on his mind a lot lately. Their intense moments together have left him speechless, but latterly, their distance made his skin crawl. As the afternoon sunshine streamed through the window, Chrissy felt alive and unburdened by the burden of her past. She was at her friend's house, relishing the warmth of laughter and straightforward conversation. She couldn't help but note, though, how like the man she had previously loved so much was. Held to pull that, try as she might, she could not completely remove. The sun sank, flaming hues filling the sky, and he was shaken off. Jim felt a chill run down his spine when his phone rang warningly. It was a friend's message. Warning, Comment is returning to town. Feeling futile uncertainty seeping into his heart like poison fueled by a sudden yearning to face the truth, he disregarded the message as a surge of heat raced across his cheeks. Dread and anger swirled together. Jim immediately thought of Chrissy's reaction and how her eyes would shine as he shocked her as he got into his car. But when he saw a familiar car parked, his excitement as he drove turned to anxiety. Breathing deeply, he swung the door open and saw something that felt like a kick to the abdomen. His hands clenched, the laughter inside sounding like a mocking echo, and his heart fell out of his chest when he noticed Common's car there. As Chrissy and Common spread out on the couch, laughing hysterically and exuding intimacy with their body language, Jim's voice boomed. "What the hell is going on here?" Dangerous and low-key, Chrissy wriggled to her feet. Her head whipped around her face, depriving it of its color. "James, you promised that you were over Jim, and I'm not even sure where to start." With every word laced with treachery, Jim yelled. With defensive hands up, Common stood up, his expression a mix of astonishment and annoyance. "Jim, man asserts that this is not as simple as it seems. Close your mouth." Jim moved closer, the tension in the air smoldering, and added, "I don't want to hear your pitiful justifications." The room became chilly. There was a heated atmosphere, almost tangible. A glimmer of sorrow and fear lit across Chrissy's eyes. "Jim, would you please allow me to clarify?" what he yelled, as she had anger in her eyes. "You've been lying to me behind my back, so even with every word you say, I can tell that I wasn't sneaking about." Chrissy cried, and her voice wavered. Jim sneered, clearly not believing what I had assumed would be a simple conversation. "You recognize this as a conversation?" He felt a part of himself crack as he turned to storm away, tangling up with him like you were never gone. He felt as though the laughter that had filled the room was a painful betrayal, the punchline to a joke he'd not wanted to participate in. The finality of their betrayed confidence was evoked by the door slamming behind him. Breathless, the turmoil of emotions overtook him as the crisp night air struck him like a shot of adrenaline. Did they stand a chance at all? Could he ever put his trust in Chrissy again? A deep need for answers rose in tandem with feelings of betrayal in his chest. Jim realized that there were many dark and enlightening possibilities ahead as the night drove off. This was just the beginning. It stayed. Could a passionate relationship possibly withstand a breakup this destructive? The night itself felt as elusive as the answer, and the trip ahead looked anything but simple. He was forced to face the brutal, naked truth of betrayal in love and the perilous attraction of the past as he made his way through the city streets. The bustling streets below took on a golden hue as the sun dropped low over New York City, creating a lively atmosphere of laughter and clinking drinks in the trendy eatery. But things were about to change drastically at one table. Chrissy Lampin sat across from Jim Jones, looking equally determined and irritated. After experiencing their fair share of ups and downs, were no longer the same. Their conversation seemed veiled, as if Chrissy and Jim's mother were feeling tense. "We need to talk about your mother, Jim." Chrissy spoke in a composed but passionate tone. "I can't keep pretending like nothing is wrong when she treats me disrespectfully at all times." Jim groaned and stroked the back of his neck. "It's my mother, so you have to understand where she's coming from," he muttered. It's not just about how your mother treats me, Chrissy continued, her eyes sparkling. You cannot keep making excuses for her. The air crackled with unresolved feelings when a text message from Jim's phone buzzed on the table. Jim's mother rained down insults till his face turned icy. That she's messaging me right now, claiming that you're stirring up strife in our family, is outrageous. Your mother won't let me do what I want, which is to be a part of your life. A nearby table turned to listen to Chrissy's rising voice. Before Chrissy could respond, someone moved to the side of their table. Jim was getting more and more irritated since it felt like you were always at her throat. Maybe if you just made an effort to comprehend her. Jim's mother, with a glare in her eyes, stated, I'm tired of your disrespect. Christina, like a TT string, the tension broke. Do you really believe you can simply enter this room and take my son away? Chrissy retaliated. You're going to let her talk to me like that? Chrissy asked, her words hanging in the air like a challenge as Jim stood up to try to defuse the situation. You have to show me respect. I'm not trying to take him away. Jim's face twisted in struggle as the weight of his mother's devotion tugged at him. But Chrissy had had enough. With fury emanating from her like heat from a fire, she leaped from her seat. You allowed her to take charge of everything while things were chaotic, which is why we can't cooperate. When Jim got really angry and tried to stop Chris from moving forward, he smacked her cheek, startling the whole room. Eatery in peace and quiet gasps broke between them. Jim's eyes widened in horror at what he had just done, and his heart began to race. Is that you? As Chrissy spoke, her countenance alternated between ferocious determination and frozen misery, tears streaming down her cheeks. She muttered that you picked her over me. Jim's heart sank at realizing the true cost of his actions. That's when Chrissy pivoted on her heel, leaving Jim standing there. I won't be in a love triangle with your mother, Jim, so you need to find out what you want, she calmly said. There was silence around him in the cafe, and the reality of Dan was furious because of a combination of betrayal, loyalty, and the recent occurrences. Jim realized things were going to be different when Chrissy proposed. His pulse quickened as he realized how important this was. Would he defend Chrissy, or would he let their love be overshadowed by the strong currents of family loyalty? December 13, 2019, Fresh York backstage at Barclays Center, New York City, during the 2019 Deucepalooza. Picture by Johnny Nunes via wire service. It has to end eventually. Jim Jones, along with Chrissy Lampin L. Chrissy Layman tells Jim Jones by 2021, despite the fact that they had been together for 18 years at the time. Appeared to be past the notion of getting married during a family get-together love and hip-hop edition on VH1's third season, she abruptly declined and continued, you want me to be this loving crazy cook, this, that, and the other, but you come home and you're mean, and you're cold, and you're distant. During their tense exchange, Jones confessed his transgressions because he was afraid of being married. All I know how to do is try to support and try to make money since I've always been a guy in my family. I love you more than anything in this world, so please don't think I'm selfish in the slightest, Chrissy declared. Things have to end at some point, according to a recent Love and Hip Hop New York episode. In the latest episode, Chrissy Lampin elaborated on the rationale behind her and their relationship, worried she could break up with him. Fans have been speculating about Jim and Chrissy's relationship and what precisely constitutes a pair because Jim chose not to marry Chrissy despite this extravagant gesture. To make up for what many perceived as his previous lack of commitment, Jim risked everything and asked Chrissy to marry him in Miami. The true test of their love is that they have shown that their commitment to each other is genuine, regardless of society conventions. They keep pushing beyond challenges and learning how to prioritize the happiness of both themselves and their group in an environment where expectations abound. The audience is fascinated by their story and is waiting impatiently for updates and new perspectives on their relationship as time goes on. Many can identify with the universal themes of love, devotion, and personal development that are highlighted by their trip. They remind us that relationships are about more than simply getting somewhere. They're also about the events and changes that happen on the journey. as demonstrated by Christian Jim as he keeps navigating their path. We wish them both clarity, understanding, and happiness, in whatever shape that pleasure may come in, as they embark on this new chapter. Whether they choose to stay put or walk down the aisle, it's critical to keep in mind what brings people happiness and fulfillment. It's fine for some couples to never walk down the aisle after years of dating and shared experiences. Whether you achieve it jointly or separately, what counts most is finding contentment and serenity. The world waits, hoping for some understanding and clarity as Chrissy and Jim traverse this new phase. Rarely is a love story straightforward. Sometimes being loyal to oneself while navigating the complexity of partnership is the most crucial thing for individuals who are following their journey. Happiness for them both, no matter what path they ultimately choose as the days pass. The ups and downs that come with love are depicted by the way their relationship dynamics are ever changing. Though there is tension with A&A, every encounter and public appearance gives the novel they are crafting together a new depth. Jones serves as a constant reminder of how crucial family is to interpersonal relationships and the difficulties in maintaining them. The water's depths can occasionally be crippling. Over the years, Jim and Chrissy have both developed personally, learning from their successes and failures. Not only about love, but also about communication, understanding, and respect. In addition to thinking back on their time spent together, they can be considering their goals for the future of both their relationship and themselves. Talks about marriage often mirror larger expectations from society, and it's clear that Chrissy and Jim are managing these expectations in unique ways. It can be difficult to choose what is actually best for them when family, fans, and the industry can all create tense conditions. Always in accordance with each person's desire or willingness,